Hello everybody, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is 1 o'clock on Thursday, which means it is time for a video tutorial on Facebook. I'd like to point out I am on Facebook on Thursday, and that is where I'm supposed to be. I'm about 1,000,000% sure. Okay, I'm 27% sure this is where I'm supposed to be. Let me double check that I am transmitilating. It looks like, I'm on my Stamps-N-Lingers Facebook page, so that's a good sign. Yep, that's right. That's how it's supposed to be. Thursdays are Facebook, Saturdays are YouTube. Yeah, that's it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, so the card that we're going to play with today, which you'll see tomorrow, you'll have all of the instructions tomorrow, so not to worry, it's a go-to for me. It's an old fave. It's one of my very favorite fun folds. Hey, Shirley. Hi, Penny. It is a side fold card, sometimes known as a gatefold or a book fold card, sorry. And it is a very fun way to get a card that fits perfectly in an A2 envelope like this, but gives you a square palette to work on. So if you're needing to make a square card, but you like to have an A2 shape of a card, then this one is for you. So I hope you will pay attention and use it. So I've used a couple of new things, all of which, oh my gosh, can you even believe that tomorrow is the launch of the new catalog? I can't, it's like, what? Already, yes. In fact, it is true. Tomorrow morning, you'll be able to order from the new July to December 2022 mini catalog. Hey, Marva. Hi, Bree. Hi, Brooke. Hi, Linda. Hi, Penny. Hi, Shirley. You'll be able to order from the new catalog, and this is one of the possible suites that you can order. It's the Cottage Wreaths. It has a Cottage Wreath stamp set and the coordinating dies called Country Wreaths. And then there's a paper pack that goes with it. And this one is really quite awesome. I mean, can you tell from that how big it is? This is a 12 by 12 pack. You get 48 sheets of paper. That is crazy good deal. And it's got winter colors and fall colors and Halloween colors and Christmas colors and Valentine's colors. I mean, it is straight up pretty much everything you're going to need, and it's all plaid all the time. Okay, so watch for this one. This is a great pack of paper, and that's what I've used today. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Thanks, Debbie. Appreciate you. All right, so here's our card. We're going to start by making the fun fold itself. Now, this is terribly, terribly complicated, so I hope you'll pay attention. Remember, you can always, once I download the video, you can always rewind it. Something went wrong. There we go. Whew. Let me double check that because I bonked it and it went crazy. All right, there we go. That's more better right there. Okay. Anyway, you'll be able to rewind the video once I get it loaded because this is really hard and I know you're going to have a hard time. So you ready? Pay attention. Maybe take a note here. So we have a regular 4 1/4 by 11 sheet of cardstock. This is early espresso. We're going to score it at 5 1/2. Now comes the complicated part, and 6 3/4. And that's it. That's the end of how we have to do to make a side fold card. Easy. Also, I'm just saying, peasy. So we'll go ahead and fold this. It is important when you're doing a fun fold, really almost any card, but a fun fold in particular, to be sure that you get the fold folded straight. And sometimes that's not as easy as you think, like you're just going to fold it, because sometimes even the straightest of scorers get a little bit sideways. Okay, so at 5 1/2, we have folded this direction, which let's go ahead and call it a valley. The important piece is that the other fold is folded the opposite direction. Okay, so we folded here, and now we're going to fold back like that. All right, and again, just making sure that it's straight and give a little crease, just like so. Okay. Now we'll take a little bit of liquid glue and, oh, I got a lot of people. My silly thing didn't scroll. Hi, I appreciate y'all joining. And I hope you are having a great week, not too wet. We have had rain every single day. My squash plants have decided, yeah, we're done. We throw up the white flag, too much water. We're going to make little tiny squashes and then we're going to rot them all, which I think is awesome. Okay, so we're just using some liquid glue and adhering the front to the back. Okay, so you can see now what we have is we have a square front and we have about 1 1/4 inches here of book fold. Done. That's it. That's our fun fold right there. Hey, Carol. Hi, Daryl. Now I'm going to use some of the Cottage the Gingham Cottage. It's called Gingham Cottage DSP. And this is actually So Saffron, but I have pulled crushed curry in because I think that's what that color looks like to me. You can see that I'm going to use opposite. Well, the word I'm looking for is designs. I'm going to use opposite designs, and I'm just going to adhere them to some pumpkin pie mats. Okay, so I couldn't get a whole lot more fallish than this, right? I mean, really. Well, that is not the right size at all. You know what would help is if I had done a better job of measuring. That piece was way too small, so I'm going to have to cut another one when I get done. Either that or this DSP is way too big. We're fixing to find out. Fixing to see here. Oh, yes, that was correct. Okay. Whew. So this piece is, I don't know what it was doing, so I'll have to cut another piece in just a second. But in the meantime, we're going to do a little stamping on this piece and this piece. Now, the fun thing about the cottage wreaths is you can do fall wreaths, you can do a Christmas wreath, you can do a Halloween wreath, you can do your basic hello wreath, which would be great with any color of flower or whatever that you wanted. So we're going to use the acorn and these cute little leaves right here. And I am going to stamp the little leaves in crushed curry. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to go down this side piece like so. And it's just going to look like they're kind of falling down the strip. Now there's lots of things you could do to decorate this strip, but for me this time I'm just going to stamp it and mat it. Now we'll go ahead and do over here, and I'm going to kind of come across on like a little diagonal. Okay. Like a shoe. All right. Does it seem weird to be doing fall cards in June / the cusp of July? Yeah, it does. It does. Hey, Gail. Hey, Joan. Appreciate you guys joining. Now I'm going to stamp the little acorn dude. He's so cute. Look how cute he is. And actually there's a die that will cut him out as well. So just saying. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to stamp him in pumpkin pie, and we're going to kind of intersperse him along here in these leaves. Because, you know, if a leaf is falling, surely acorns are also falling, right? The deer and my Half-A-Lingers love acorns. When Katie, the baby horse, who's now 19, 20, so she's not a baby anymore, I guess, other than my baby. When we first had them loose on the place, we have a back deck, or we did until we changed it out. We had a back deck that was raised off the ground because it's a walkout basement-like thing. And I stepped out on the deck one day. The horses had free reign of the whole 30 acres. And I stepped out on the deck, and there was this giant ruckus underneath. And out popped Katie. It was when she was little. She was probably only, a year and a half. So she wasn't fully as big as she was going to get, which is still not very big. But she'd been up under the deck eating acorns. And she popped out from under there. And all I could think of was, if I had put a halter on her and tried to lead her under that deck and said, no, come on, you got to come under the deck with me, she would have looked at me like I had grown a second head. But for acorns, it is what it is. Daryl, that is called Gingham Cottage. It is the Gingham Cottage DSP, and you're going to get 48 sheets of paper with it. All right, and I'm just going to put a few down here on the side of the little strip here. Like that. Okay, now let's go ahead and put this away so I don't have an ink catastrophe. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my pumpkin pie mat. Just like a shoe. There we go. There we go. Okay, now we'll adhere these to the card front. Remember, liquid glue it squishes when you push it down. So you don't need very much because it squishes when you put it down, which means it goes everywhere. And if you've got too much, it's going to out the sides, and nobody wants that. But it will also fill in any nooks and crannies, which is one of the reasons I love it, especially if I'm using an embossed panel, because it fills those nooks and crannies. All right, so we're going to put this on here like so. And I do try to kind of line those two edges up if possible, but I'm not going to get real head up about it, not going to lie. Hello, Debbie from Vermont. Hang on, I'm going to get a drink because my big story about the pony made my throat scratchy. I probably ought to yak less and craft more. What do you think? I don't know. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is make our wreath. Now, I'm going to tell you a little trick here before we get going. When you first build your stamps and you take, they come on the piece of photopolymer sheet, and they're going to be, and you're going to put them on from the photopolymer sheet onto this, or I mean I do. So set it on there the way it's supposed to be, and you can tell by lining up the image underneath. And then go ahead and do, not like I did, but do this. Take a marker and mark that little spot where that little V thing is, okay? Because that little V thing right there matches up with the little V thing on the die. So if you stamp and remember where that little dot is that you just put, and then you can line up this little tab on the die, you'll be very, very close. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there going like this the whole time. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, you do you. Everybody's going to do it a different way, but you do you. All right? Any suggestions on what to see in Memphis? I don't know. I would stay out of West Memphis. That's just me. It's not my favorite place, but there's plenty to do there. If you are a rock and roll fan, obviously, that's kind of its thing. Alrighty. And here we go. So what I'm going to do is, just to help myself out, which I don't usually like to do. I prefer to do things the hard way, really. Duh. Why wouldn't I? I'm going to stamp this in early espresso. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that dot, which is right there, I'm going to put it at the 3 o'clock position right there. Okay? That way I can kind of know where it was, since that dot, fortunately, doesn't transfer to the image. Okay? And then we'll cut it out. Hey, Mary Lou, appreciate you coming. And we're going to use our little mini here because I can and it fits. And let's see, I need this cutting plate. Like so. And you'll remember I put the, maybe I did, unless I turned the stupid card around. Maybe I didn't. No, I did. I did. I might have. Goodness gracious. Don't do like I just did, okay? I was so careful and I was like, oh, you're so smart, Mary. Uh-huh. No, I wasn't. So let me see. Let me think about that a little second here. Pretty sure I was like that. If you have to, there we go. If you have to, just roll it around. You can see how it fits. This is obviously not going to work, right? Because it's a little more, it's a little flatter one way than the other. That'll make more sense when you have this in your hand. Okay, so that's where it's going to line up. And we'll do this. And then, because I kind of want it to stay put, and I don't have a magnetic plate for my mini, hopefully we'll get one of those soon. Well, hopefully we'll get the big one back too. I am going to take a sticky note, and when I get it lined up, I'm going to hold it in place. Now, see, if I was a good demonstrator, I probably would have done this ahead of time, but I wanted you to see how to do it. Okay, and then we'll roll it on through. There we go. Like so. Hey, Kathy from Kalamazoo. Appreciate you coming. And then we should, in theory, everybody hold your breath, have a nice cut out wreath. And we do. Okay, so let me get this away. Let me get this away. Away with you, little tiny Minnie, who is so handy to have. There we go. He makes a big noise. He's kind of like Finn. He makes a big noise. Okie doke. Now, before you came, you'll be glad to know, I did cut out some leaves. They're actually, I don't know if they're leaves. And I cut 4 each in crumb cake and crushed curry. And what's going to happen here is we're going to line this up. We got a piece of the Cottage Wreaths, or Gingham Cottage DSP, sorry. It's going to take me a second. Cut in pumpkin pie. So let me just go ahead and adhere that with some liquid glue. See, now if you turn it over this way, it gets real Halloween-y real quick. So it's pretty handy, but you know, I don't want Halloween on this one. I want straight up fall. So I'm just going to put that right there, kind of straight, sort of straight, hopefully straight-ish, like so. And then what's going to happen is we're going to layer this on, and I'm going to alternate these leaves like so. Just do a layout ahead of time to see what you got. And I only cut 8 of these. Really, you'd probably want 9 if you were going all the way around, but we're not, because we're going to block this part with a sentiment. So it's easy. I can just come on down here and continue on the round. All right. So let me go ahead and adhere these. And what I did is I just picked a spot to start, and I only put glue on the end of the stem, like so. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let's see, let's just start here. What's the worst that'll happen? I screw it up. So just put a little bit of glue on the end, and then you can tuck it right under like so. We'll do one more, and then I'm just gonna skip a little bit because I don't need to put one under the sentiment, and it's just kind of a waste. We don't need it. We just don't need it. Or I'd have had to cut another one. We'll put one right there, and then just continue on around, alternating. Just try to remember your what you've planned, and that means, you know, every next one is going to tuck under, right? So tuck under, which is why you only put glue on the stem end, because that way you can tuck under. You can tuck under. Everybody wants to tuck under. Does everybody have big plans for the 4th of July? I am, just so you know, for all of your planning, because I know you're worried, I am planning on having a video on Saturday night. But if you are someone who usually joins or is thinking about joining my Zoom the Craft Room on Monday, I am going to take the holiday off. So I will not be on Monday for the Zoom the Craft Room, but I will be on my YouTube channel on Saturday night at 7 Eastern. Okay, so here's our last one, and we'll just tuck it under like that. And boom, we have a little wreath. Okay, now while that goes ahead and dries a little bit, let's go ahead and make us a sentiment. I am using the Some People Just Make Life Better sentiment, and I'm going to stamp that in. Oh no, Gail! Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry. I hope you get to feeling better soon. That's a bummer. And for those who are having to work on the 4th, I am sorry about that as well. I don't currently have plans. Don't know if that'll change, but for right now, nothing's on the books. Okay, so I have let me see if I did that even sort of straight. Yeah, this is a 3/4 inch wide piece of basic white, and I've just made it longer than I need because it's easier that way. Okay, so here's how I did this. This is how I did this. I laid my wreath on as so, and then I kind of decided where I wanted the sentiment to be, which is right there. And then I took my snips. This is very technical, so, you know, maybe take notes again. Maybe do a screenshot. I cut at an angle. Yeah. And then I put it back on with my angle where I wanted it, and I said, that looks about right there, and I cut it. And as it turned out, that ended up being about 2 3/4 inches. So, you know, it is what it is. Okay, let me cover this up before we have ink where we don't want it. I'm just, you know, we don't want that. And then I'm going to take some liquid glue and adhere this. Now, I want to be sure that I put my gap, my leaf gap right there. I want to put it really kind of in the center of that strip, because remember, this is where my sentiment is going to go. Okay, so we're going to put him like that, just like that. Okay, cover up our glue. Now, one of the coolest new trims that we have is this threaded twine, and you can see it's a nice thick twine, and it's got a very, very small thread of silver metallic in it, and it's very, very pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal right about there, and I'm going to just make a kind of a tight little loopy doop. And I'm actually doing Stampin' Seal Plus. Okay, this is a big thick twine, and so I want it to have some good adherence. So can you see I've just put a little doo-ha of it right there, and then instead of measuring the twine, because that's crazy, I just start looping it right here like this. Okay, and you do get a little bit of grace with this because it doesn't grab really fast. So if you don't like how it looks once you get it on, you can do that. I just leave a little extra. And then I can go like that and say, oh yeah, you know what? I kind of like how that looks. I'm liking it. I am liking how this looks. All right. So there we go. And then I'm going to take some dimensionales. Yay! Happy 4th birthday on the 5th. I would mess that up bigger than Dallas. I'm just going to put my dimensionals on the card base. And I'm going to do a double stack because it's kind of thick. I think the last time I used this, I didn't use a double stack and it was okay, but I think I prefer the double stack. And really, since you're cutting them in half now, I know you're still really only using 3 dimensionals instead of 6. So, you know, you're really still conserving dimensionals. All right, let's get this kind of straight, and we'll just put that on like so. And then if you need another one, let me show you how to do that. Take the cover off of a dimensional, pick up another dimensional, stick it right on top, pull the cover off, and then I know you all have your tweezers because everybody has tweezers. Everybody now has tweezers, right? And then just slide it under there to catch that. And if you wanted another one, you could do the same there, and I will, just so you can see that I am not afraid to add dimensionals after the fact. But by putting them on the card front to begin with, I know that I am avoiding having a dimensional right where that twine is. And that's really always kind of the problem when you are adhering over twine. You don't want your dimensionals where the twine is. And the best way to make sure you don't is to put them down first. Okay, there we are. And now I'm going to take some of the amazing, will that twine go through the mail? Okay, yeah, I mean, it's going to be thick. You're going to pay extra. This is a thick card, but I would put a piece of cardstock, or I like to use our old retired shimmer vellum when I have it, which I almost always do because I don't get rid of it. I cut it into card front sizes so that I can stick it in my envelope. I did try to pick that up. I really did. Did you not see it? Okay. So I'm just going to put a few of these. It's going to be thick, and you are going to have to pay extra postage. But I've come to the conclusion that my cards are going to take extra postage anyway. I pretty much just keep 2-ounce stamps on hand. Sorry, that's just how I roll. All right, and we want to have an odd number. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks like an odd number to me, but I want more, so I'm going to go there, and then I'll put another one on too. So that was 6, and let's say 7 here. Right like that. Okay, and there is our card front. So on the inside, let me cut a correctly sized piece of pumpkin pie cardstock before we get started too far, because I'm pretty sure that's what I needed was 4 1/8 by 4 1/8, correct? Okay, now I'm going to take my Grateful, it says Grateful, and I'm going to stamp that in the middle. You can also use the DSP backers, that's exactly right. The little white ones mostly, I think. I mean, depending on how heavy your card is. So I'm just going to stamp this right in the middle of my piece of basic white. I know, it's crazy. Everybody get your forever stamps right now because they are going up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add a little fall of leaves, and I'm going to go the opposite direction this time. So instead of going this corner to this corner, I'm going to go from here down like so. And then, you know what? Let me do my, I'm just going to go ahead and do my, what is the name of this thing I'm going to use? Oh, yes, the envelope. Gosh. They say the mind is the first thing to go. I think that's not accurate because a few other things have also gone. So, I don't know. But the mind is going. So I'm just pushing that down in the corner there, like so. And then we'll add some acorns. Some acorns. Like this. And I really just want an oddish number. I don't know why. Just because I read somewhere that's how you're supposed to decorate. And then we'll do the same here. And let's see, we'll go our number 5 down here. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. It's perfect, I say. It's perfect. Yes, we do keep the Postal Service in business. That is for certain sure. Thank you, Gail. All right, little liquid glue. And we are so close to being done that we're practically done. Just saying. So close to being done that we're practically done, except now I can't find my card. There it is. Okay, here we go. All righto. Make sure it's right side up. And then we're going to put a little more of that Gingham Cottage DSP on the envelope flap. And there we go. I love this fun fold so stinking much. I cannot even tell you. It really is just cool, and it really is so easy. Here we go. And I am using the little plaid side out for my envelope flap. You could absolutely do big plaid side out, whichever makes you happier. You could also, if you wanted, stamp some more of those leaves on here. I'm going to call it good right there because I think the plaid does the work for you. But if you want to do more leaves, and I'm not going to lie, it's very tempting because they're really, really cute. And the acorns are really, really cute too. So whatever makes you work. Now this is technically, this paper is So Saffron. That's the color that's in the DSP. But I have pulled the, for me, this is more crushed curry to me. So that's what I did. And there you go. A pretty fall card, really quick. It actually takes a lot less time to make it in real life than it does on a video. So I hope you will give it a shot. Think of all the possibilities you can do with the amazing side fold card and be ready to go. All right, guys, you guys have fun tomorrow with your orders, and I'll be back on Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.